The NBA draft is a pivotal moment in the basketball world where talented young athletes take center stage. This annual event serves as a gateway to greatness as the future of the game is shaped and new stars are born. But not all players drafted turn out to be great. Today we're going to dive into several players that were compared to greats but turned out to be busts. Starting off with Darko Milicic, a Serbian basketball player who had a highly scrutinized and disappointing NBA career. He was selected as the second overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft by the Detroit Pistons ahead of future superstars such as Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and of course LeBron James. Despite being compared to Dirk Nowitzki during the draft, he struggled to make an impact in the league. Milicic's time with the Pistons was marred by limited playing opportunities and inconsistent performances. He struggled to find his role within the team's system and rarely showcased the skills that made him a highly regarded prospect. Despite being part of the Pistons championship winning team in 2004, Milicic's contribution was minimal as he only played sparingly during their playoff run. After leaving the Pistons, Milicic bounced around multiple NBA teams including the Orlando Magic, Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Boston Celtics. However, he never managed to establish himself as a consistent and impactful player. His lack of development coupled with on-court issues further hindered his progress. Ultimately, Darko's NBA career was overshadowed by the success of his fellow draft class peers, leading to widespread criticism and disappointment. He retired from professional basketball in 2013 at the age of 27, leaving behind a legacy of unfulfilled potential and serving as a cautionary tale of the unpredictable nature of NBA careers. Next, we have Adam Morrison, a former college basketball star who had a short and underwhelming NBA career. Known for his prolific scoring ability and impressive college career at Gonzaga University, Morris entered the NBA with high expectations after being selected as the third overall pick by the Charlotte Bobcats in the 2006 NBA draft. His comparison to Larry Bird during the draft turned out to be a huge disappointment. In his rookie season, he showed glimpses of his scoring prowess but struggled with consistency and adapting to the NBA's faster and more physical style of play. Unfortunately, his sophomore season was cut short due to a torn ACL, further hampering his development. Morrison was eventually traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, where he won 2 NBA championships in 2009 and 10. However, his role on the team was minimal, mostly limited to the bench. He struggled to find a consistent place in the Lakers' rotation and failed to recapture the scoring touch that made him a college standout. After a few more attempts to revive his NBA career, including stints with the Washington Wizards and Portland Trail Blazers, Morrison ultimately found himself out of the league by 2012. His inability to adapt to the game, coupled with injuries and a lack of defensive prowess, hindered his success in the NBA. While his professional career may not have lived up to the hype surrounding his college achievements, Adam Morrison's college legacy as a two-time NCAA scoring leader and his contributions to the Lakers championship runs remain notable. He serves as a reminder of the challenges that come with transitioning from college success to the demanding and competitive world of professional basketball. Third, we have Hashim the Beat, a Tanzanian basketball player who had a largely disappointing NBA career despite entering the league with high expectations. The Beat was selected as the second overall pick by the Memphis Grizzlies in the 2009 NBA draft, primarily due to his exceptional shot blocking abilities and imposing physical presence. Despite being compared to Dikembe Mutombo, he never developed into an impactful player. He found it challenging to adjust to the speed and skill level of the professional game, and his offensive skills were limited, making him a liability on that end of the court. Although he showcased flashes of defensive prowess, his overall performance fell short of expectations. The Beat's playing time was limited throughout his career as he bounced between multiple teams including the Houston Rockets, Portland Trail Blazers, and Oklahoma City Thunder. Despite his immense physical gifts, he was unable to consistently contribute on the court, and his lack of development became increasingly apparent. Eventually, the Beat found himself out of the NBA and began playing professionally overseas. While he had some success internationally, his NBA career failed to live up to the hype surrounding his draft position and potential. The Beat's story serves as a reminder that raw talent and physical attributes alone are not always enough to thrive in the highly competitive and demanding environment of the NBA. Next up is Anthony Bennett, the first overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft, with a highly disappointing and short-lived NBA career. Hailed as a promising talent compared to Larry Johnson, his NBA career was plagued by inconsistency and lackluster performances. Bennett entered the league with the Cleveland Cavaliers but struggled to find his footing from the start. He battled injuries and inconsistent play, resulting in limited playing time and lackluster performances. His lack of impact on the court, combined with concerns about his conditioning and work ethic, raised questions about his readiness for the NBA. After just one season with the Cavaliers, he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. His struggles continued, and he failed to establish himself as a reliable contributor. He was then subsequently traded to the Toronto Raptors and later had brief stints with the Brooklyn Nets and Houston Rockets, but his performances remained underwhelming. His NBA career quickly faded away, and he found himself out of the league by 2017. His lack of development, inconsistent play, and inability to capitalize on his physical tools led to widespread disappointment and labeled him as one of the biggest draft busts in recent memory. Next up, we have Kwame Brown, the first overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft, with a largely underwhelming NBA career that was overshadowed by the weight of high expectations. Coming straight out of high school, Brown entered the league as the youngest player drafted at the time. He struggled to live up to the comparisons made to NBA greats like Kevin Garnett. Brown started his career with the Washington Wizards, but he struggled to meet the immense expectations placed upon him. He displayed flashes of potential, his development and consistency were hindered by injuries and a lack of confidence. He faced harsh criticism and scrutiny from fans and media, which further impacted his performance on the court. Over the course of his career, Brown had stints with several teams including the Los Angeles Lakers, the Grizzlies, Pistons, Bobcats, and 76ers. However, he failed to establish himself as a dominant force or reach the level expected of a first overall pick. His offensive skills and basketball IQ never fully materialized, and his defensive contributions were limited. Despite the disappointments, Brown managed to have some productive seasons, particularly during his time with the Bobcats. However, he was unable to consistently deliver at a level that justified his high draft status. Ultimately, Brown's NBA career did not live up to the immense potential he was once thought to possess. Next up is probably the most famous bust in NBA history, Greg Oden, a highly touted center who had a career marred by unfortunate injuries that prevented him from realizing his full potential in the NBA. Selected as the first overall pick by the Portland Trail Blazers in the 2007 NBA draft, Oden entered the league with immense promise and high expectations. He was a dominant force in college and was compared to great centers like Bill Russell and David Robinson. However, Oden's career was plagued by knee injuries right from the start. He missed his entire rookie season due to a microfracture surgery on his knee, setting the tone for a career filled with setbacks. Despite displaying glimpses of his talent and potential when he was on the court, Oden struggled to stay healthy and missed significant playing time throughout his career. Over the years, Oden had multiple knee injuries and battled ongoing knee issues, which severely limited his impact on the league. He had brief stints with the Miami Heat and teams in China, but was unable to mount a successful comeback. While injuries hindered his career, Oden showed promise when he was able to play. He possessed excellent size, shot blocking ability, and a solid presence in the paint. However, the injuries prevented him from reaching his full potential and left fans wondering what could have been. Despite his abbreviated NBA career, Greg Oden's story is a testament to the unfortunate reality of injuries in professional sports and how they can derail even the most promising careers. Next is Andrea Bargnani, an Italian basketball player who had a mixed and ultimately underwhelming NBA career. Selected as the first overall pick by the Toronto Raptors in the 2006 NBA draft, Bargnani arrived in the league with high expectations as a skilled big man with shooting range. Bargnani was often compared to Dirk Nowitzki. Bargnani showed promise early in his career, displaying a unique offensive skill set for a player of his size. He had a smooth shooting stroke and the ability to stretch the floor, which is highly valued in the evolving NBA. In the 2010-11 season, he averaged a career-high 21.4 points per game, showcasing his scoring prowess. However, Bargnani struggled with consistency and defensive shortcomings throughout his NBA tenure. His rebounding and defensive presence were often criticized, and he struggled to make a significant impact on the end of the court. Additionally, injuries frequently hampered his availability and limited his contributions. After spending the majority of his career with the Raptors, Bargnani had short stints with the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. However, he failed to find the same level of success he experienced early on, and his impact continued to decline. Up next is Sheldon Williams, a former college basketball star who had a relatively modest NBA career. Known for his shot blocking prowess and rebounding skills, Williams was selected as the 5th overall pick by the Atlanta Hawks in the 2006 NBA draft. Williams drew comparisons to Ben Wallace during the draft due to his defensive skills. However, Williams struggled to find his footing in the NBA and failed to live up to the expectations placed upon him as a high draft pick. He faced challenges in transitioning his game to the professional level, particularly in terms of his offensive skills and scoring ability. Despite his defensive contributions, his limited offensive impact limited his overall effectiveness on the court. Over the course of his career, Williams had stints with multiple teams, including the Hawks, Kings, Timberwolves, Celtics, Nuggets, and New York Knicks. While he was known for his effort and work ethic, he struggled to secure a consistent role in rotations and often found himself on the fringes of the rotation. Williams' career statistics reflected his limited impact, as he averaged only modest numbers in points and rebounds. However, his shot blocking ability and defensive presence occasionally provided value to teams in need of interior defense. Next is Jonny Flynn, a former college basketball standout who had a brief and disappointing NBA career. After an impressive collegiate career at Syracuse University, Flynn was selected as the 6th overall pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2009 NBA draft. Flynn drew comparisons to Chris Paul due to his quickness and playmaking skills. Initially, Flynn showed promise as a dynamic and quick point guard with excellent scoring ability. He had a memorable rookie season highlighted by a game-winning shot and a few notable performances. However, his career trajectory quickly changed due to injuries and lack of development. Injuries hampered Flynn's progress, particularly a hip injury that required surgery. These setbacks limited his playing time and hindered his ability to show his skills consistently. Additionally, Flynn struggled to adapt to the demands of the NBA game, particularly in terms of decision-making and playmaking. After his stint with the Timberwolves, Flynn had brief stints with the Houston Rockets, Portland Trail Blazers, and Detroit Pistons, but he failed to regain the promise he showed early on in his career. Eventually, he found himself out of the NBA and had subsequent playing opportunities overseas. Lastly, we have OJ Mayo, a talented shooting guard who had a promising NBA career that was eventually derailed by off-court issues. Mayo burst into the scene as a highly touted prospect known for his scoring ability and versatility. He was selected as the 3rd overall pick by the Memphis Grizzlies in the 2008 NBA Draft. Mayo drew comparisons to Dwayne Wade due to his scoring ability and versatility. He enjoyed a solid part of his career, showcasing his scoring prowess and the ability to contribute on both ends of the court. He had a productive rookie season, averaging double-digit points and earning a spot on the NBA All-Rookie First Team. He continued to be a consistent scorer throughout his tenure with the Grizzlies. However, Mayo's career took a turn when he violated the NBA's anti-drug policy, resulting in a 10-game suspension during the 2010-11 season. He struggled to regain his previous form after the suspension and experienced a decline in production. Despite a change of scenery with the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks, Mayo's performance failed to match the promise he displayed early in his career. Off-court issues continued to plague Mayo's NBA journey, and he faced further suspensions for violating the league's substance abuse policy. These setbacks hindered his development and led to a decline in playing time and opportunities. Eventually, Mayo found himself out of the NBA and shifted his focus to playing professionally overseas. These players were compared to all-stars during their respective drafts because they showed potential or possessed certain skills that resembled those of established NBA stars. Unfortunately, factors such as injuries, lack of development, or inability to adjust to the professional level hindered their careers and prevented them from fulfilling their potential. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have an amazing day.